Welcome to Ask Drac about Halloween cocktails. We've taken over Alan's studio for another week, and we are doing a Halloween-themed set of cocktails. These will have a little less carbs than what the ones last week had. Some of those had a lot of carbs from elderflower liqueur. There is some elderflower this week as well, but only 3/4 of an ounce. I believe that's the only one that has it in there. But we are going to do 3 cocktails this week. One is called Skeleton Key. One is Drunk Witch. Most of them usually are. And Headless Horseman, one of my favorite guys. So come with me as we explore 3 more Halloween drinks. Welcome back to Ask Drac about Halloween cocktails. This week we are doing 3 more cocktails, and I hope that you tried the ones last week. They were all good. They did have a few carbs, but we went over that, and you should not be complaining. But not all of you are worried about your carbs, so many of you, that won't matter. But you can have fun with these drinks anyway, whether you have low carb needs or not. But for me, as long as you keep the blood flowing through your veins at a reasonable amount of carbs in your diet, then I'm fine. I just don't like sweet sugar in the blood. So let's start this week with the Skeleton Key. This drink is made in the cocktail glass. So it has 1 1/4 ounce bourbon. And I'm going to use Buffalo Trace bourbon this week. It's hard to find in this area, but just for you guys, I will use some. 1 1/4 bourbon. And you make this on the ice. 3/4 ounce elderflower liqueur. And 3/4 ounce will have 8.25 grams of carbs. And the elderflower does give these drinks a little bit of an earthy taste, which is ideal for many of these. 1/2 ounce fresh lemon juice. I already squeezed that and put it in a small jar, but this is the lemon juice. 1/2 ounce. And then put a little more ice on that. And 3 to 5 ounces of ginger beer. Alan did a show weeks ago where he went over different diet ginger beers. This was one of them, this Cock and Bull diet ginger beer. It had a higher amount of ginger taste than the others, and it's very good. And I think will work perfectly in the Skeleton Key. And we'll make it probably at least 4 ounces. And that pretty much fills the glass. And this had 0 carbs, so we don't worry about that. So the total here is 8 carbs. Garnish with bitters. It's 8 dashes of bitters. And that will drizzle down into the drink. And the ice is kind of holding the bitters at the top, but it is trying to drizzle down just a little bit. Let's take a bar spoon, move that around a little bit. And that is the skeleton key. Very good. That cock and bull ginger beer makes this taste great. Gives it that higher earthiness from the ginger. The elderflower liqueur also gives it an earthiness. Very much what you might expect from something called skeleton key. So let's go to the next cocktail, and that is called Drunk Witch. Those witches, they're hard to keep control over. But this one is done in the shaker. And Drac's got that here, right there. Get some ice ready. Then, this has 2 ounces of vodka. And Tito's is pretty good and not very expensive. The grenadine, Alan made that quite some time ago, and it is separating. But basically, grenadine is just pomegranate juice, and if you use unsweetened pomegranate juice and cut that back, I don't think you put water in it. I think it's just pomegranate juice, and you add sweetness. So you use sugar substitute, and you will get a lower carb, not 0 carb, but a lower carb grenadine. But there's 2 ounces of this. Look up grenadine, or look up carbs in pomegranate juice unsweetened, and that's what's in this. Alan should have done that already. And then Blue Curacao. The Blue Curacao is sitting over there. Let me disappear and bring it back. Okay, so the Blue Curacao, as was mentioned last week, the Blue Curacao is made from sugar substitutes, and it's an orange curacao. It tastes a lot like Cointreau, but you add food coloring, and that's the difference between orange liqueurs and Blue Curacao, is that it's got got a little bit of food coloring in it. So you add those together and shake. And then you strain into a tumbler with ice. Rather than strain, we'll keep the ice that's in there so we don't waste it. But normally that's not what they want you to do because it melts faster that way. So rather than straining, we'll just dump it in. And doesn't that look wonderful? That's a definite witch's brew. So this, last time I made it, I didn't have Sprite, but you top this with Sprite, put a little bit more ice in it. But I used Fresca before, and it tasted pretty good. But I did get a hold of some 0 sugar Sprite. And if you have a larger glass, then you can get a little more soda in there. Yes, the Sprite does taste good. different than the Fresca, but it's what's called for. A very good drink. Has some sweetness in it, but since we use zero sugar or no carb ingredients, this actually has only the carbs from the pomegranate. So if you look up the pomegranate juice, that's what you make grenadine from, then you will see what the carbs are. I'll try to make sure that gets posted in the description. But this is the Drunk Witch. And I can see how they would get drunk drinking this because it's very good, and they probably drink a lot of it. Now I will disappear once again and clean out the shaker. And I'll be right back when I disappear. And I'm back. Everything's cleaned. And we'll move on to the final cocktail. And this cocktail was found originally, this was found in something called mixing up tiki. I assume that this is something that might be all over the place in other recipes, but this particular recipe did come from something that's called mixing up tiki. So I wanted to make sure that we gave them credit because everybody needs credit for what they do. So this is a very good drink, and we will make it and try it. And need to disappear once more. This is supposed to have pebble ice. I do have some crushed ice, but no pebble ice. But the crushed ice will do fine. And I'm back. We'll put the crushed ice in here. Unfortunately, it's fairly crushed, so it might water things down just a little bit. Save the rest back to put into the actual cocktail glass. And we will be using a tiki glass for this. So this is what we'll have for this drink. Usually I put the ice in the taller one so that we don't overflow. So what this has is Plantation Barbados 5-year rum. Oops, that is not it. This is it. 5-year Barbados rum. This is a very good rum. This is what's called for in this particular drink. It's got a very good taste. And we're only using an ounce. But we're adding to it also Plantation, which has become Plantaray. So on your shelves, you would find, if you've got bottles, they're still showing up in this area as Plantation, but some places are starting to see Plantaray show up. That's 1 ounce of OFTD. We could talk about what OFT stands for, but don't want to go over that right now. Cinnamon syrup. And I have some of this skinny syrup, cinnamon dolce. That is ideal for this. It has zero carbs. Quarter ounce allspice dram. Alan made this before also, but he didn't do a video on it. It's a little bit more complex item to make, but this is something you also might want to make your own, or you can buy allspice dram. But it's only a quarter ounce. And fresh lime juice. And so this was previously squeezed. I do have some limes here, but I already had some that was squeezed, so I went ahead and I'm using that. There's 3/4 ounce of that. Then you shake that. It says only shake it for 5 to 8 seconds. And then open pour into the tiki mug and then add more pebble ice or crushed ice is what I have. And this tiki mug is way bigger than what that fills up for. Maybe that should be a double recipe for a normal tiki mug. So we do that and we top. We garnish, it says fresh mint, so that's what we have here. That is the Headless Horseman. Very good. Should use a straw for that. I do have straws, but I didn't get it out, so we just showed that this way. But that's the last of the Halloween cocktails that I'll be sharing with you this year. I will be back another time to share more, perhaps next year. But I'll hand this back to Alan for the next cocktails that he wants to provide. And it is the end of October. So go out, trick or treat, have fun, do the things that you want to do. But before you do, make sure you like and subscribe and share and comment and do all those good things so Alan can grow this community to see how to make cocktails with lower sugars and things that you will really enjoy to have. But thank you, and this is Drac taking off until next year. See ya!